I'm doing some update work on the SR45 from Ruger. If you follow the channel at all, you may have known that I had some trouble with this pistol. I've had this pistol for about 2 years now. Geez, I forget. Is it 1 year or 2? Anyway, I've had this pistol for quite a while. And when I initially got it, I had a lot of problems with it. It had a lot of things wrong with it. And it was hard to feed an entire magazine of ammo through this gun without a malfunction. So much so that, I would actually jump up and down whenever I did. I sent the gun back to Ruger. Ruger did a lot of work on it. They replaced almost every part in the pistol. So essentially I got back my frame and slide with all new components installed for the most part. So let's see how this thing's doing compared to how it was initially. Alright, I'm just going to put a couple or a few magazines through this gun and let's see how it functions. First of all, that didn't used to work at all. You couldn't drop the slide using the slide lock release. I know a lot of people say, well, you're not supposed to. Well, I like to, and I think it should function that way. So that's good that that's working. Let's see how it shoots. I forgot how much I like this trigger. Uh-oh. I forgot how much I didn't like that the gun just doesn't fire. I forgot how much I didn't like that. That was one of the other problems that I used to have with this gun. It doesn't go bang. Uh-oh. Now, I'm not a professional statistician, but I'm detecting a pattern. Now, one of my complaints was that the magazine release was extremely hard to use and didn't drop the mag very free at all. That has been taken care of. That's working really nice now. Happy to admit. Okay, let's try another mag full. Let's speed things up a little bit. Maybe that's why it wouldn't work. I was shooting too slow. Okay. See, that was it. That's the problem. Ruger SR45 must be shot fast. All right. I'm going to put this round back in. Actually, I'm going to go pick up the other one off the ground too, now that I got it all dirty. All right. All right, so I've retrieved the 2 rounds that didn't fire. See if they'll fire this time. 1 for 2. 2 for 2. Let's try a little bit of Sig Sauer ammo. Sig Sauer with the Elite Performance 230 grain ball. See how it likes the Sig ammo. Well, it doesn't like it a lot yet. All right. Tell you what. I'll be fair. Instead of charging the gun gangster style, I'll do it this way. Nope, it still doesn't like it. All right. And again. Nope. It does not want to feed that round. I think I finally got it into battery. Let's see if it'll run them. Oh, yeah, no good. No good. All right. Mag drop works anyway. At least that works. Alright, let's try this round again. Okay. Alright, I got 5 rounds of SIG left in this box. I'm going to try these last 5. Okay. Hey, we got that one to feed. That's moving us in the right direction. Alright. That's what I like. The Ruger SR45. The gun I love to hate. I know it probably seems that way anyway. And the truth is, it's the gun I want to love. But boy, I've had a really hard time loving it. When I first got this, if you have followed my my ordeal with this pistol for about the last 15 or 16 months, you know, when I got this thing, it just had all kinds of problems right out of the box. It was almost unshootable. So it went back to Ruger, and they replaced just about every replaceable part in the pistol, and they sent it back to me. Their customer service, I will say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, was great. The turnaround was quick. There was no charge for anything, including shipping, and they followed up with me, you know, to see how things were after I got the pistol back as well. So I like to talk about people's customer service. I think everybody can screw something up, but it's how you handle that counts. So kudos to Ruger on customer service. Big fat thumbs up there. So let's talk about the actual gun. After continued use, and I've put you know, well over 1,000 rounds of all different kinds of ammo under lots of different conditions through this gun. I've shot it in the winter, I've shot it in the summer, and you know, everything in between. Let me try and touch real quickly on where I think this thing stands with some of the issues that it had. Okay, one of the frustrating problems with this gun that comes and goes. I mean, it'll work perfectly for a while, and then terribly for a while, and I'm, you know, I don't know, but there you go. See, there's the magazine drop, and it doesn't want to drop very free. And sometimes you almost have to find different sweet spots on the button. It is a fully ambidextrous control. Doesn't seem to be any preferential behavior left or right as far as, you know, it works from this side but not from that side. It seems to misbehave equally from both sides. Searching for the sweet spot. There we go. Another problem that this gun is plagued with is feeding problems. You know, you get a round halfway fed and it'll get stuck, and you get a double feed, and you have to drop the magazine, clear the jam. I have a theory about why that is. So let me discuss that theory. I have deliberately left this pistol dirty so I can show on this trigger bar what I think I'm seeing with respect to the ammo rubbing as it's feeding against the trigger bar. Trigger bar then putting pressure on it, changing its trajectory, changing the way it feeds, and affecting reliability of feeding and even possibly some accuracy. So this is the vertical piece of the trigger bar. And what this does, right up here at the very top, you can see, you definitely see wear. You can see that shiny, worn area through the dirt. And what you're seeing there is where it contacts the firing pin safety up in the slide. So that is somewhat normal, even though in my opinion that looks like it might be a little bit excessive. That is a designed wear part. But we rotate down a little bit and we look over here, you see where it got real shiny right there? Now that bevel may be partially manufactured to have a bevel. I know Glocks do. I didn't look at this one when it was brand new at that level of detail, but it may be manufactured in to some degree. But look how shiny it is. Look how freshly worn it is. So you can see that just about every round that's fed in this gun rubs pretty hard against this trigger bar. And if I can get the right angle here with light, see just above the top of my pointer there, you can see how that wear extends in a little bit, but then look at the brass rubbed off. So the mouth of the case is actually rubbing hard enough against this that it's leaving a little brass behind. So you can't tell me there's no way that's not causing some reliability issues for sure. Let me demonstrate a little bit, if I can, the problem that I believe I see with this trigger bar design. I've got a, oops. So I've got a snap cap dummy round in my magazine. We don't play with live ammo at the workbench. So the magazine is seated now into the pistol, so it's ready to be loaded. And if you look straight down, let me try and give you a straight down view here. Notice anything that doesn't look quite perfect? So imagine that cartridge traveling straight forward where it is right now. What's it going to do? It's going to impact that trigger bar. Now let me try to run this, let me try and cycle this really slowly, which is hard to do and keep it on camera, but let me try. Alright, let's let this feed it forward a little bit. Here it comes. You see that? Look at that contact. Alright, let me try to feed this by hand, manually a little bit. I'm just going to hold back on the tension of the recoil spring and let that slide come forward slowly. See, right there, contact. The bullet is actually pushing that trigger bar out of the way a little bit. Now the case mouth is going to hit it, and it's going to ride tightly right along there. If you can see that, it's riding tightly right against that cartridge. Now let's let the camera focus a little bit here. See? So now I've actually let go because we didn't have any kind of momentum. That's not going to feed all the way, and that's not the fault of the pistol. Alright, so what we've got here again is this vertical tab of the trigger bar interferes with the feeding of the round. And it interferes pretty much 100% of the time. Again, that's the design of this bar. It's sticking out too far into the path. So certainly an important design problem with the SR45. And this is a pistol that was sent back to Ruger and essentially gutted and rebuilt. And it has the exact same problem it had before in this respect. Not all the problems, some of them have been fixed, and I will try to point out all the good along with the bad. But that's a big one. That's a big issue. Reliability and accuracy are two very important aspects of firearms. Failures to fire with this gun. Light primer strikes, basically, is what it comes down to. And you know, I've had the problem occur enough times with enough different types of ammunition that you know, I feel comfortable saying it's the problem with the pistol and not any particular type of ammo. I don't even think it's a problem with any particular type of primer. Like, I'm not going to say I'm using all ammo that's loaded with hard primers and stuff, because I've even run my own hand loads through this that I know I've loaded with really soft stuff like Federal Match. If you're a reloader, you know how soft that stuff is. And I had light primer strikes and failures to fire. So there's definitely issues with the power of the striker. I don't know if it's a spring issue or what. I did remove the magazine disconnect safety. That safety would not allow the striker mechanism to operate without a magazine in the gun. I took that out because I hate them. Because I did that, you're able to dry fire the pistol without a magazine in it, which otherwise they would caution you against. But I was hoping that in addition to just defeating a really obnoxious safety, I was hoping that it might make some difference in that the primer strikes, and it doesn't really seem to have made that difference. So I don't know. I do still get, sometimes I get clicks when I'm supposed to get bangs. Not as many, I don't think, but I still do get that. So the SR45's accuracy is not bad. It's respectable. It's not going to bring home any trophies, I don't think. But this is, what you're seeing here is the result of how many rounds? 10 rounds. So this was 10 shots at 25 yards, and this is rested. And the spread was basically breaks down like this. The full group of 10. Maximum spread was 3.45 inches. If you go down to 9 of those, if you drop out drop off the furthest flyer, you're down to 2.35 inches. That's not bad at all. That's actually a pretty respectable group by most any standards for a 4-inch pistol. The best 5 shots under an inch, 0.975. Again, that's pretty good. And the best 3 are just under 3/8 at 0.350. So, and that was obviously that whole collection right there. This was Remington UMC ball ammo, 230 grain, full metal jacket, an ammo that I find to be very utilitarian, but very reliable and accurate. So I get consistently good results with Remington UMC, and so I like to use that as kind of a baseline for a lot of guns. There you have it. There is the accuracy, which I think is respectable enough. I am not unhappy with that for a pistol like the SR45. I think that's a pretty good group. Failure to feed. It's kind of an old story with this gun. Okay. So the Ruger SR45, I continue to work it out. I keep bringing it out to the range with me, and even if I just get to put, you know, one box through it, you know, each time I come out, I'm just continuing to put rounds through this gun. I'm trying to evaluate it as honestly as I can over time with a lot of different kinds of ammo, all different kinds of factory loads, top shelf, bottom shelf, middle shelf. I'm putting my own hand loads through it. I'm putting everything I can get my hands on. I'm shooting it at different distances, under different kinds of conditions. And right now it looks like most of the problems that I had with the gun initially have been addressed and are okay. It still will not feed everything very reliably. If you give it anything with a challenge, like a hollow point, it becomes very questionable, and you will have some failures to feed. Rounds won't go into battery. I'm still trying to figure out where this thing falls. You know, how do you categorize this gun? I'm still trying to sort that out. When I think I have an answer, I'll let you know. Post-fix, post-return to Ruger, the testing and evaluation continues. Me no like hear that. Or that. Still having some issues. Okay, so one failure to fire, followed by a failure to feed. But man, I'll tell you what, I'll show you this group. Holy crap, that's a tight group. This thing shoots tight groups. It's just getting to be an old story, you know. Well, I'm still having some failures. A couple failures to fire, a couple failures to feed, or one failure to feed. But man, there's still, I want so badly to like this gun. I want it to work. I got to show you this group. This group is like all holes touching. You know, 10 yards offhand. This is, or 7 yards. I'm standing at 7 yards offhand. This is a really nice shooter. The trigger is good. Of course, I'm wearing gloves today, so the trigger is going to feel a little nicer to me anyway. But it's got a nice trigger. It's got a beautiful sight picture. It holds really well. It shoots flat. Ergonomics are nice. Like I say, accuracy looks like it is killer. I mean, I really can't wait to bring this thing out and give it a good, serious accuracy test. But we just got to get past some of these failures. Okay, so what's the sort of conclusion or final word or whatever for the SR45? Well, basically, it's this. Give this one a pass. I cannot recommend this pistol. Even if you don't want to use it for self-defense or home defense, I absolutely would not recommend it for either of those. It's completely unreliable. So unreliable that I don't even recommend it as a plinking gun or a ranged toy, because you're just not going to have any fun with it. You're going to spend half the time listening to it go click instead of bang. It's just as likely to do that. And you're going to spend the other half of the time trying to clear jams and get it to feed ammo. So, you know, it's a gun I really, really wanted to like. There's a lot of things that I like about it. There's a lot of things that are on the right track, and there's a lot of things that Ruger was doing right with it. But you put it all together and it just doesn't work. So there could be a couple things, and I've given this a lot of thought because I don't give something a non-recommendation lightly, but I'm also not in good conscience going to tell you that you should like this gun or that I like this gun if I don't and you shouldn't. It could be one of two things. It could be that it's a bad gun. It's a bad design. It's just a bad gun. Or it could be that I just got a bad copy of it. Maybe I got a lemon. And I would be inclined to think maybe it's the latter, except that, this gun went back to Ruger and they stripped this thing down and again, virtually replaced everything in it. So, they gutted the slide, they gutted the frame, they put all new parts in it, at least all the important parts, and sent it back to me. So, if it was just a bad copy, a lemon gun, that really should have resolved that problem, but it didn't. Again, failures to feed are consistent, and I think I've identified at least what I think is a problem with that. And failures to fire are intermittent but still prevalent. So, those are the two those are the two things you want to talk about. You want to talk about firearm reliability. Well, if it's not going to feed and it's not going to fire, yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's not so reliable, and that's what we've got here. So the gun I wanted to like turns out to be the gun I end up sort of liking to hate. But sadly, very sadly so, I wanted to like this gun, and I don't. So, that's about it. There's really not a whole lot more to say in terms of all the little details and things like that. If you own an SR45 and you don't have any problems, because, I'm sure there'll be comments, hey, I've had one for years and I love it and has never had a minute's problem. Well, that's great. I'll be glad to hear that. But I cannot recommend to anyone who does not own one to go out and buy one based on this copy of it right here. All right, so for whatever that is worth to you, it is just an opinion, but I tried to back up that opinion with a lot of detail and a lot of history, and it wasn't for lack of trying. I've definitely put in the time, but frankly, I'm just not going to waste any more range time with this gun.